So March 2025 has been a very challenging month for Toronto real estate. In fact, this is the slowest March for sales that we have seen in over 2 decades. We've also seen a very significant increase in new listings. Over 17,000 properties were listed on TREB in March alone, and we experienced only about 5,100 sales. So seasonally, this is a low amount of sales because March is actually like one of our busiest months. For most people, the spring market starts right after the March break. I saw a lot of properties hitting the market in the last 2 weeks, but I'm not seeing properties turning around. Now, the challenge is, as most are aware, is the ongoing tariffs and trade negotiations that are going to be happening with the US, and also our country is going to be going into a federal election. So ultimately, when there's uncertainty, buyers are turtling and not taking action, especially if they're not in a position where they have to buy. Also finding that buyers are not able to scale up to a larger property because in many cases they're not able to sell their condos, which is the softest portion of our market. Keep in mind that when I say TREB, there are listings that are on TREB in places like Windsor, Waterloo, Barrie. It doesn't necessarily mean the city of Toronto. And still, the heaviest portion of properties that are sitting on the market are the condos. But starting to see that in freehold as well. Now, ultimately, I think that this is all going to turn around once we reach some certainty, whether we have a new prime minister that's able to negotiate a new trade agreement with the US, whether we start to move things away from the US being our main trading partner and things just start to stabilize. So ultimately, the market is going to recover from this, whether that's going to be Canada negotiating new trade terms with the US, whether that's going to just be us shifting trade into another direction or sorting out our US dependent economy in another way. I'm not an economist, I'm not going to be pretending to be one, but what I do want to emphasize though is that there is a lot of negotiating power right now for buyers that are out there on the market. Now, for some freehold properties, I'm still seeing multiple offers, but if you've been kind of waiting to get into condo ownership or you're looking to get that first property, I think that you can negotiate something quite favorable with terms that I haven't seen work in favor of buyers in the last 2 to 3 years. Things like a home inspection, financing condition. These are quite normal in this market, and sellers are going to be quite receptive to offers that include these conditions because they do ultimately want to get their property off the market. Just to give you some perspective, I took a look at townhouse sales for Richmond Hill, which is a suburb of Toronto. It's just north of Steeles. It's for many part of Toronto. It is part of the Greater Toronto area. So there's currently about 140 townhouses listed for sale in Richmond Hill alone. And in the last 14 days, there's only been 14 sales. This is not normal and not seasonal at all, especially for a townhouse. That's like the entry level freehold property. It's suitable for growing families. It's also suitable for downsizers. So it's so versatile, but I'm just seeing properties like really slow down on the market. Like if you're not priced aggressively, if your property is not ticking all the boxes, so for example, if there's something about your property that may seem to be slightly unfavorable, be prepared to firstly take a haircut for that in price and to get less attention and ultimately less offers for that. But I guess the message that I'm sending is that if you're a buyer and you're just kind of like sitting on the sidelines awaiting to take action, I think there's some really good opportunities out there. If you're looking to get into condo ownership, I do have a first-time condo buyer's guide. There is a link to that guide in my bio. Feel free to send me a DM, book a call with me. My name is Alex Shonetsky, Toronto Realtor with Remax Condos Plus. This has been another episode of your Toronto Condos and your March 2025 update.